Welcome to Fort Worth 148's podcast, where we meet to discuss Masonic topics and strive to build value in the brotherhood. The opinions and statements of the participants do not represent any positions or stance of any Grand Lodge or Lodge and are solely the viewpoints of the participants. Welcome back, everyone. This is Rhit, past master and current secretary for Fort Worth 148.
This is Billy Hamilton, senior steward for 148.
And this is Gabriel Yagish, Master Mason with Fort Worth 148.
Well, it's good to be back, but we're here for an abbreviated version.
Yeah, we're feeling short tonight.
Yeah, this holidays, man, it's been a grind. I've been lodge meetings 3 nights in a week, and I was driving home tonight, and it was like, man, we got to cut this thing off for this year.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a break for about a month. We plan to come back to y'all third week of January, I think,
Yeah, something like that.
We're going to take some time off. We are going to recharge, and we'll release an episode just in time for the grand communication of the Grand Lodge of Texas. And so our goal for that, right now, the idea we've tossed around is, Grand Lodge communications, history thereof, stories about our experiences with them. It'll be fun. But we've been talking about it, and, we've done the holiday quarryman's episodes, and to give us a chance to hang out with our family and stuff. And this is going to be kind of. We were going to do a full one. We were going to do a full one tonight, and it's just we're all too tired. So, we love you all very deeply. It is so much fun to talk with you guys, and so we just wanted to let y'all know what was going on before jumping off into the void of the holiday hiatus without saying anything. So this is us going, hey, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Merry Kwanzaa, all that, and we're gonna go chill for 4 weeks. We're gonna come back with some good material. We're gonna be shifting to a bi-monthly format.
Mm-hmm. Bi-weekly, I guess. I guess bi-monthly
that's
works
fortnightly.
too, right? Yeah,
bi-monthly is the same as fortnightly.
Yes.
So
right.
We are going to release on a fortnightly schedule in the interests of, one, giving ourselves a break and honestly just recharge time. Rhit, Billy, and I are all super involved, and Grant, when he's able to make it, is also a pretty involved guy. All of us are Masonic officers of some kind. And all of us have real-life obligations that are absolutely killing us. And I love this podcast, but we need some breather room, and that's cool. That's fine. It's okay. But this is going to give us an opportunity to deliver better content for you all on a fortnightly basis, because if we have 2 weeks in between each episode, that'll give us more time to do more research. It'll give us more time to be prepared with our guests. It'll even allow for more time for editing. So it's a total plus in all aspects.
Yeah, there's a lot of back-end stuff to this that's just getting on here recording for an hour or so. And I think when we first started, we had so much to cover that a weekly podcast made sense. But now that we've kind of gotten and covered all the basic topics, we need more time to prepare to bring the content that we want. This thing's got to bring some value, or else it's just, filling dead space in the car.
Yeah.
So
it's just screaming into the void at that point.
Exactly. So we want to do better, do right by you, brother. So we'll go every other week from here on out.
Yeah. And then this way we can revisit some of the topics that we've talked about before, but we just didn't have enough time, or we didn't do enough research to talk about it intelligently. So we're going to be revisiting some topics that we have talked about.
Right, and if any of the listeners out there have anything that they would like us to discuss, if you're going to be at Grand Lodge, I think we're all going to be there. So seek us out, give us your ideas, and we'll be happy to take a look at that.
That's a great point, actually. I want to meet some of y'all at Grand Lodge. I've actually met a bunch of y'all out in the wild before, and it's awesome.
It is cool.
And so if y'all find us at Grand Lodge, I mean, it's easy to spot because we look like degenerates from a good distance away. So, you know.
No doubt. And we should have our schedule down to where we can put you down as a guest if you want to be. You know, we've got a subject we can talk about. Let's make it happen. But I would definitely love to meet some more.
Yeah, if you have a Masonic niche, then we want to hear about it. If you are a past presiding officer of some really weird organization, we want to hear about it. If you've been writing
the more obscure, the better.
Oh, yeah. The weirder, the better. Come on, rectified Scottish Rite. Come on, rectified Scottish Rite. Anyway, this is how I know that I'm never going to get invited to anything. But if you've written a paper or a book or something like that, we've had we've talked about books and talked about books with their authors before on this show. Let's talk about that. If you have an inflammatory idea that you think will set the world of masonry on fire for better or worse, let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
So, gentlemen, for this Quarryman's Roundtable, this Quarryman's Corner Table, shall we say, I have 2 questions, and they're really just part of one question. So, and we're going to start with Rhit, then Billy, then myself. The first part of the question is, what are you thankful for this year? Second part of the question is, what do you hope for next year?
Well, I was going to relate it to the podcast predominantly anyways, but one of the main things I'm thankful for is this podcast. It's been a dream of mine for quite some time. I started it out in 2015 by myself, and it was horrible. And luckily bumped into you, Gabe, and Grant started it with us. Then Billy came in. I mean, Billy just came in and it fit him like a glove. And to perpetuate this has just been great. I think it's something that hopefully will start some sparks throughout Masonry, either starting more podcasts or giving ideas to take back to your lodge. But I see there's a huge void there in technology and Masonry. We haven't embraced it like we should. And used to be you needed a website. Now you need so much more. And there's technology for communication. This podcast being one of them. And I couldn't be more proud of just us getting out there and doing it. I mean, we have over almost 14,000 downloads now. And it just boggles my mind that it's been that successful. So no doubt I'm thankful for that this has come to fruition. But, another thing that came to mind when you posed this question was, if you pay attention on Facebook, it's hard not to feel like there's a change going on in our craft. You see so much more activity. One of the best examples is this boot idea that Brad Billings has come up with. Have y'all seen that on Facebook?
I've seen it in person.
Yeah.
And it's taken it to another level to where, sure, we need to sell the ball caps and the beer koozies. You know what I mean? But there needs to be another level of this to where we can really raise some funds for this fraternity. And that was a great idea.
Yeah, and for anybody that doesn't know, the boots that Rhit is talking about are a set of boots from Teskey's. If you look them up, Teskey's is selling this boot for, I think right now it's like, $400? Something like that?
Yep.
And then there'll be $500 after Grand Lodge. And the boot is a brown leather with a square toe. You can get a round toe option. The tube of the boot, I don't remember what the boot terminology is. It's like the sheath.
I don't either.
It's like the sheath of the boot is
the
blue.
leggy part.
The leggy part, yeah. It's blue. And where on the instep of the shoe, right where the main portion of the shoe meets the leg, you have just beautifully tooled leather portion of it that has the square and compasses and the G on it. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's very beautiful. I'm planning on getting a pair in the near future, and I love them. They're gorgeous. It's one of those things that's awesome. And all the proceeds are going to go to the Grand Lodge Library and Museum.
And, you know, I've seen guys on there, you know, hey, it's too expensive, this or that. Regardless, if it's out of your price range or whatever, you should be supporting this because it's a great idea and a step in the right direction to where our merchandise needs to take a step up and just not be the old ball caps and stuff like that. But, you know, there's another brother, I've been sworn to secrecy, but it's coming quick. He's come up with another fundraising idea that's you don't wear on your feet, but every single lodge, if you go to it, it will be there. Every single lodge. And he's come up with a genius fundraising idea to also spark some esoteric discussions. And I believe he's going to promo that at Grand Lodge. So be ready. Only thing I can say is go down there and get you a cup of coffee. There's, you know, the Grand Lodge has updated their website now, which, you know, it is definitely a better website than it was, but the members portal side hasn't come out yet, which is supposed to be very in depth and help us. Yeah, it's supposed to be released at Grand Lodge. And that's really supposed to help us communicate with each other and updating our information. And it's just like things are changing for the better. And it's not as rapidly as I'd like to see it, but the longer I'm a Mason and the older I get, I understand things don't change that quickly, but as long as they're moving in the right direction, and I really feel like we are. And in 10 years, this is going to be a different fraternity.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're going to have these tools in place. You know, we might even have a Twitter account.
Lord preserve us.
Yeah, I can't imagine the Grand Lodge of Texas Instagram account. But I feel like those things are coming.
Well, and going back to these boots, by the way, I did see some of the comments on there. There were a couple of negative comments. Like, I think one thing that should be made clear is this is not an effort by the Grand Lodge. They're just the ones that, they've dedicated the proceeds from. But this is a couple of dedicated brothers who came together and made this happen. So it's not another way to try and get, extract money out of your wallet. This is strictly voluntary. And by the way, I'm like in a position myself where I just bought a pair of boots for my commander uniform. And it's like, now I need to get these boots too, right?
Yeah. Problem is that they're brown, so they don't fit with the commander uniform.
I know. Yeah. So then I'll have my Blue Lodge boots and my commander boots.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are a couple of brothers that they're innovating and they're taking the money and they're putting it toward, a good Masonic cause. So it's not something, this is not the Grand Lodge trying to get more money from you. This is a couple of brothers who care. And for that reason alone, you should support it,
That's what I'm saying. And you don't have to buy them, that it's just a great idea. And if you see a way you can make it better, do what those brothers did and make it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Because they saw a void and a need. Because unfortunately our Grand Lodge building has no large amount of funds to keep up with that property. And they saw a need and probably are going to make quite a bit of money to bolster that. Because I bet you, I've already seen people from other states buying them. And it still goes to the Grand Lodge of Texas.
Yep. It's pretty nice.
You got it too.
Oh, yeah. One of the other things that I saw was that people are complaining that it's too expensive. And I don't want to be mean here. It's going to sound mean. But masonry shouldn't be cheap. And masonry shouldn't be dictated to the whims of your cheap tastes. $400 is a pretty good price for a pair of boots. Most normal boots cost anywhere from $300 to like $800, depending on what they're made out of and who makes them. So $400 with, they subtract the material cost out of it, and then everything goes out of it to the Grand Lodge with nothing going to the business itself other than, the at cost. That's an amazing service that this business is doing, and $400 is a great price for a pair of boots. So no, they're not cheap boots. and they're going for a great price for what they are. They're a good deal even at $500. And just in general, it's one of those things that I saw that people want their masonry to be cheap. The problem with making masonry cheap is that the experience ends up being cheap too. So,
well, and here's my thing:
there's
is
my
that
soapbox, guys.
right,
Sorry, had to get that out.
we've had the baseball caps and the T-shirts forever, and we still have those for guys that can't afford the boots. But there's no reason why we shouldn't have high-end stuff. We have all the low end. We got that covered, and if you can't afford the boots, that's unfortunate. Go buy you the Grandmaster coin for $5 or go buy, but that doesn't mean that the guy that can afford the high-end stuff, it shouldn't be there, because that money's going to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. Why not have it go to support the Grand Lodge? And I'll tell you this, the service you get from Brother Don Paul, it's worth $400 if you're buying a pair of flip-flops from the guy, because he's going to stand by what he sells to you.
Yep.
You're going to be proud and you're going to be satisfied with what you got. So, that definitely shouldn't be an issue. But, all in all, my thing is that I just really in this last year it's created such hope in me, renewed hope, that our fraternity's moving in the right direction finally. And once we get these wheels greased, it's just going to snowball.
Hallelujah.
Which kind of leads me into my hope of next year, that we continue this trend, that Masons continue to grow and become informed on their fraternity, because, I'm a huge ritualist and esoteric guy, and I love that part of it, but I've been taught the importance of knowing the laws of our craft, knowing how to brothers in such a way that is non-threatening to make the changes that are needed. And I hope we continue that pattern. Get to know these guys you're voting for, know your law, and then dig into the educational portion of this, because we got a lot of growing to do. That is for sure.
All right. So for me, actually, I am thankful. This is so I took a long hiatus from Masonry, right? Due to work, where I was traveling and moved to different states, different countries even. So that took priority, and I stepped away from Masonry for a long time. And it wasn't until it was about December of last year when I started getting back into it. And looking back, it's amazing at this year, right? How quickly it's gone by, how many wonderful brothers I've met from all over the state and even from other states. So that's what I'm thankful for, right? Is, I have to be honest, I didn't realize Masonry could be this involved and this engaging. And I am very glad for the people that I've met that have inspired me to become even more involved with it. I'm also thankful to, that I have a job to where if they're pretty easy about if I need to take time off to go to Grand Lodge or go to the Grand Chapter Communication, it's pretty easy for me to take off. So I'm very fortunate in that. And I do realize a lot of people don't have that kind of a situation. So I realize how fortunate I am there. And then also to, my wife and my family for giving me the time and encouraging me to be as active as I am. Because again, that's something that I know a lot of people don't quite have family that, they're not in a position where they can take that time away from their family, let alone be supported by their family. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Oh, that's a good one for sure. We can't forget our wives and kids.
So next year, I hope it continues, right? It's been a wild, crazy ride this last year. I hope next year is even better, even wilder and crazier. And, now that also I'm looking forward to seeing how Masonry changes, especially here in North Texas. It's an amazing hotbed of Masonry. So I'm looking forward to seeing, what comes out of it from the great group of brothers we have here.
Yeah, and I'm going to kind of jump into my thanks with there's something going on in North Texas. And I've talked to people from the Grand Lodge, from the Grand Yorkite bodies here in Texas. And the general conclusion is very, very similar. Is there's something going on in North Texas. And this is not to knock any of the other regions, but Masonry seems to be exploding up here. It's very active. It's very wild. It's just absolutely wonderful. And I'm feel very blessed that I landed in this area when I decided to jump into Masonry, because I'd been, we've talked about it on the show before. I've been thinking about becoming a Mason since I was 13 and saw National Treasure. And I didn't get involved in it until I moved back to, until I moved to Fort Worth after living in New Orleans for a little while. I could have been a Scottish Rite Blue Lodge Mason. How about that? Ooh.
Clandy.
I know. But I managed to land in a super active area, which I'm very thankful for. I landed in this super active area. I landed in a super active lodge. And I've gotten involved in, a really active chapter and council and a wonderful commandery with a lot of history. I somehow stumbled into the Scottish Rite, and, my girlfriend's probably going to strangle me, but I'm, eventually the shrine and the grotto and all that jazz is coming as well. But I've had a lot of wonderful support from brothers, guys who have been there to cheer me on when I'm celebrating stuff and to give me good counsel when I'm messing things up. It's been wonderful stuff. I've also been given a lot of, for me, it seems like a ridiculous amount of responsibility for a new guy. As of this November, I've been a Master Mason for 1 year. And Rhit can confirm this. I am the non-officer head of the education committee, because we have an official head for each committee, basically, who is an officer, and then we have a non-officer head, and I'm the guy who runs that when the junior warden can't do it, which that's cool. In chapter and council, I've been installed as the second in command. In chapter, I am the excellent king. And in council, I am the right illustrious deputy master, which means this coming June, if tradition prevails, I will be installed as high priest in chapter and the thrice illustrious master in council. I'll be the presider of both bodies. As of that time, I will have been a capitular and cryptic mason for just over a year. I've been installed as the junior warden in my commandery, which is fifth down the line, I guess. Like fifth down the line, fifth in command, And right. For a guy that's really new to all this, it's just bonkers. But I've been working my ass off and been having a lot of fun, and I love that people trust me with this, and I hope that I can make them happy. One of the things that, we've kind of, I don't know if we've ever outright stated this on the podcast, or I know that we've kind of joked about it and tangentially referred to it. But in August, I lost my job. I am currently unemployed, and I've been job hunting, and it's been a wonderful, transformative experience. Normally, it's really traumatizing for that to happen, but I've had a lot of time for introspection, and I've been able to talk with brothers that have gone through the same process, and I've been job hunting, and it's that process of chasing leads and things not turning out, or like maybe opportunities that show up that don't fit for you. I was looking at stuff in Houston, but I can't leave Fort Worth right now. So, throughout all of this time, I've had incredibly supportive brothers, and most of all, my girlfriend, who has been an amazing support through all this time, not just for me in my state of career right now, but also in Masonry. She tells me that she loves how much I care about this super geeky hobby. She says that we're hopeless nerds and that she doesn't understand it, but she'll still fact check me when I'm reciting ritual. I'll hand her a Royal Arch monitor, or Royal Arch ritual book, or she and I have started working on the junior warden's part for the Order of the Temple, and she doesn't care. She's just like, yeah, let's do this. She likes seeing, me be active, and I've started taking her to dinners and stuff like that, and she's enjoying it. It's a little overwhelming for her. She was kind of freaked out by how many new people she had to meet at once. But I have an incredibly loving and supportive girlfriend, and honestly, like that's the best you could ever ask for in masonry, is a supporting partner. So
absolutely.
As far as what I hope, I really want to serve my chapter and council well. I really want to serve, in whatever, as hopefully as presiding officer, I really want to do a stellar job there. I really want to serve my commandery well, as junior warden, and I really want to serve my Blue Lodge well in whatever capacity I end up in, whether it's as an officer or as a committee head or whatever. I'm having a great time there, and it's just one of those things that I've thrown myself in there. And I've already made some commitments to Scottish Rite, so I hope I am able to serve there very well as well. And some of y'all have already encountered this. I've already approached some of y'all with this idea, but I have some ideas for a festive board in the Cryptic Council. It's intended for royal and select masters and their ladies or gentlemen, if that's their preference. And it's something that I'm working on, and it's something that I'm trying to get permission for. And if I do end up getting permission for it, I hope that, one, I get permission for it, and then I hope that, two, I'm able to carry it out. And that's something that I need help from everyone in the Cryptic District around me. I mean, it's going to be a bunch of councils getting together to do this. So it's not just going to be me, and it's not just going to be my council. So it's something that I really want to do to advance social York Rite Masonry. It's something that I want to do to advance charitable York Rite Masonry. And I really think that a lot of people will benefit from this in general. It'll be really amazing. And I'm not going to disclose too many details right now, but the target charity is local food banks, because 1 in 4 Texan children goes hungry every year, and 1 in 6 Texan adults goes hungry every year. And it costs $2.53 to furnish a meal for somebody. There's no reason why we shouldn't be helping them. So that's kind of my hope. I want to feed hungry kids. I want to do well in the offices that I've signed up for, and I want to have a blast while doing it. And I want to keep my girlfriend happy. That's the important one, I think.
No, I think that's all great. I think we got a good year ahead of us, no doubt. Got a good Grandmaster coming up. So it's a good lineup altogether. So I think we've got a few good years ahead of us, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going. Your festive board did remind me that when we come back next year, we will be making our announcement on our event that we've got planned, which is a very large undertaking. So hopefully we get some support on that too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to see how that turns out.
Yes, I think the brothers will be excited for it.
Yeah, so we're going to keep y'all in the dark, which is not the nicest thing to do, but it's something that we're going to have to report on after the fact. So y'all will hear that
teaser.
Y'all will hear about what we're hinting at probably in around February. So
it's big, so you'll love it.
But brethren and friends, this is a time of year that we're all we've talked about spending time with our families and everything like that. My hope for y'all, this is not a hope for me, but it's a hope for everyone. I hope that y'all have a safe holiday season, whether it's your Hanukkah holiday or Christmas holiday or whatever. I hope y'all travel safe. I hope y'all fight as little with your family as possible, which I know that there's some families that don't fight, and there's some families that really do fight. I hope that we have more families that don't fight than do. And I hope that the food is good, and that your houses are warm, and that the wine and merriment flows freely.
Amen. Well, boys, I think we should close this thing down and call it a night. So, till next year, brothers, Merry Christmas. Have great holidays. Happy New Year. Love you. See you next year. This is Rhit Morris signing off.
This is Billy Hamilton signing off.
And this is Gabriel Yager signing off. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.